Hey guys, Palsteron here, and today let's talk about my Falling Thunder Gemling Legionnaire. Now, as you might know at this point, Gemling Legionnaire is one of the coolest classes that have been popping up this patch, and they've opened up a slew of new ways to play the game, making it so you don't have to consume charges or infusions or anything annoying that GG puts in your way. In my case, I chose Falling Thunder, which is one of the coolest skills in the game. It has a big slam, and then it shoots out projectiles everywhere depending on how many power charges you consume. Now, usually the way it works is it's kind of like a payoff skill, like you do something else and then at some point Falling Thunder. If you have a good Falling Thunder build, you can probably do it every 2 to 3 seconds because you're getting a lot of charges, like for example on Martial Artist. But on this build, you can literally spam it like an auto attack. You will not even pay really mana for it. We're going to go over all of that in this video, and it is a pretty impressive skill at that point. Now, while everything in this video is very high investment, that doesn't mean that the skill itself is really tied towards a lot of this. I will talk about how you can reduce the charges to 0, and none of them are really expensive. So technically, you can do a budget version of this build. This will just not be one of it. It's also not really a build guide. It is more to give you some perspective and to give you some ideas. I'll have to turn the audio off, unfortunately, because Whirling Slash, as you guys might know, is really, really loud. But yeah, we have really fast Whirling Slash attack speed, but this is how it's going to look like. This is Falling Thunder, and I can just right click and hold and infinitely spam. Now, the way you get this is first 42% quality on the gem. On Gemling Legionnaire, you have Advanced Thaumaturgy, which gives alt quality to all of these skills, and one of them is percentage chance to not remove charges on use, and I get 42% in total. You technically only need 40, but there it goes. Then you have 25% chance from charge regulation support, so that's 25% on top. 10% from Idol of Aramir, which is slotted in your body armor right here. That's another 10%. Then you have 10% from the Fabled Stag, which is on the passive tree right over here. You can see it on the very bottom. And we have up to 15% from the Boots Chronomancer modifier. Do note that there are 2 tiers of these, and the other tier is 10 or lower, and that is not going to be enough. Now, the way you get this 42% quality on the gem is first up from the amulet modifier. This is a Kurgle modifier. If you do not know how to craft this amulet, I'll put it on screen for a bit. But yeah, basically you get 5% here and then another 5% from the Paragon Distill. Gemling Legionnaire itself has 2 small passive points that we take that give 2% quality each. And then we also have the Fox Idol that is socketed in our body armor. It just says that it gives bonded modifiers, but if you hover over, the bonded modifier of this is quality. So that's how you get the last 5%. Do note that you still get all of the bonuses from power charges on the skill. All of these effects do state that you don't remove them, but still count as removing them. Now, the fact that you're not removing charges still means you need the charges in the first place. How do you do that? Well, first up, you have Blasphemy and Repulsion, which I mistyped. There it is. Blasphemy gives you a curse around you, and this is Repulsion, and it has a hit attached. That is all that's really important, and it is considered a melee hit if you slot it with Living Lightning. There it is. So after that, you get the melee tag. Now, the way you have to do that is you have to do it in this order. Otherwise, you cannot even slot them in. So for example, if I don't have Living Lightning, you can see I can't even put in the Aleph Chime support, which gives you your power charges. So you have to first put in Aleph Chimes, and then you have to put in Culmination, which gives you combo, and after that you have to put in Aleph Chimes, and that is the way it works. So basically, you go into a map and you just whirl a little bit on top of them, and you'll get power charges automatically. But the biggest one here is Thaumaturgic Generator, and I really underestimated this one. So Thaumaturgic Dynamism comes from Thaumaturgic Generator, which you can instill, and this one just gives you a power, frenzy, or endurance charge every 5 seconds, and you can skew towards one of those charges by having skills have a certain affinity. So for example, this one has 157 int required, so the dynamism gets a little bit more of an affinity towards blue, which is the power charge, right? Cool. So you don't want this to be fully just on power charge, because we're also gaining frenzy and endurance charges. First, the endurance charge we're getting through Herald of Ice. We have a armor explosion set up with Uruk Smelting, and armor break 3 support has a chance to give us endurance charges, and all of that is important because all of the charges give us something with charge regulation. You can see right here, more crit chance while power charge, that one's easy, and then you have more armor evasion energy shield while you have an endurance charge, and increased skill speed while you have a frenzy charge. On top of that, the alt quality also gives us a good amount of increased damage, if I can do it. Here it is. Buff, 3% increased damage per charge, also quite nice. But the biggest thing with this thaumaturgic generator is you only get it every 5 seconds, but you don't really need anything. You just need to replace a power charge because then it resets all of your charges. That is kind of all you need. And yes, sometimes you're not going to have frenzy charges. Sometimes you're not going to have endurance charges, although that will be very rare while mapping because of the Herald of Ice armor break setup. But that is kind of optional and just a little bit of a sprinkle on top. Now, our main skills and our weapon swap are, first up, our damaging skill, which is Falling Thunder, which will be on weapon set 2. And then we have Whirling Slash, which is our movement skill, as you can see right here. And this one is on weapon set 1. It needs to be on weapon set 1 because we put in Rigwald's Ferocity, which gives 30% attack speed only if it is in weapon set 1. It doesn't change anything. It just looks like we're a spear build, but in reality, obviously, we are a quarterstaff build in weapon set 2. Now, we do some nifty things with the auras because the Blasphemy with Repulsion you really only need while you're whirling around. We put that on weapon set 1 only, and then Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice, which are there for clear, we really only need while we're dealing damage. So we put those only on weapon set 2, and that way we save 60 spirit. Now, our mana sustain is really easy on this build because we're consuming power charges, but not really. It still counts towards Well of Power, 5% of max mana when you consume a power charge, and then the small ones also give 2% each. So you can see while I'm in hideout and just standing there, I'm basically perfectly sustaining mana. Now, while you're in maps, you still want another leech mod right here. You want a mana leech mod. Leech percentage of physical attack damage as mana, and then you want a gain as extra physical damage on your weapon, and that is simply because of the rares that soak up your mana. I forgot how they call it, but yeah, they are so goddamn annoying. So just for them, I did that. But if you're not really concerned with that, it's not the end of the world. You can also go for a mana on Kill Jewel, but this was just the easiest solution for me. Now, I want to make clear how important these distills are and where you can get them. You need Paragon and Thaumaturgical Generator. This helmet right here is actually screwed up. I bought this one for way too cheap. I had to buy it. But in hindsight, the Xerox gift, which gives an additional jewel, was actually not the play because I ended up having to go for a Megalomaniac. So I just traded one jewel for another and just paid a lot of currency. All you want is you want 2 distills, one on helmet and one on amulet. So you want Paragon and Thaumaturgical Generator, which are these 2 right here that I already showed off, and one on amulet, one on helmet. You can do that with the Raven Touched from the currency. There it is, Raven Touch Charm. So this one right here on your helmet. Now, when it comes to the helmet, the +1 power charge is extremely strong, but it's obviously very hard to get. The +28 spirit ended up being completely worthless, but once again, I had a good deal. Now, if you look at my passive tree, you will notice that there's something very weird going on right here. I am just pathing through the whole gauntlet here. And the reason is that I'm picking up a ton of different jewels. If you haven't seen my jewel video, I'll link it down in the description. But basically, this patch, you can make jewels like this. Now, why is that a big deal? So this patch, they buffed the +2 maximum rage from 1 to 2. Which means that with the increased effect of prefixes, that can actually go to 3. And then if you have an Adorn on top, it can actually go to 4 or even 5 if you have multiple mirrors, which I don't. But you can technically get it to 5. And it is a prefix, as is increased energy shield and increased energy shield hybrid. So you can get full-on increased effect of prefixes. And yeah, once again, if you want to know how to craft those, I made a whole video about them. These jewels are completely ridiculous, as you can see right here. They give you like over 1,000 energy shield each. They give you a ton of damage, and they are, yeah, just absolutely mind-blowing. Now, as for the other jewels in the setup, 2 passive voices is worth it, I would say, at current prices. Getting an extra jewel, basically. Adorned, I will say, at current prices is definitely not worth it. I bought this one extremely early. Now, if you have the currency, buy one with 34% on the bottom or higher, which guarantees that you get that +1 maximum rage breakpoint, but everything else, I mean, it's just not worth it. I can tell you right now, I can show you the difference between this and a normal jewel, and it is, I mean, we're talking 1,000 energy shield and like 8% more damage at the current price point of multiple thousand divines. That is a complete joke. I got it in like week 2, so that's different, but Adorned is very optional for this build. Diamonds are completely ridiculous on its own. Okay, but why would you stack Rage? So Rage gives us a ton of extra damage. First up, the Berserk gem right here gives you +2 maximum rage on alt effect from Gemling Legionnaire. It also gives you a ton of increased rage effect right here, and that rage effect gives you a slew of extra modifiers. Now, there is a downside here, and I want to make this clear right now. Berserk degens you. Your Chaos Inoculation up here, which means your life gets set to 1, which makes it very, very easy to sustain any percentage degen. All you need is a single life regen mod anywhere on your gear. This is very, very important. Otherwise, you will just randomly die. Now, Rage gives us 1% more damage per 1 Rage, which without Adorned, I currently am getting 97% more damage. And with Adorned, I'm getting a nice 103% more damage. And on top of that, you're getting increased attack speed. They introduced a new support gem this patch called Medved's Felling. This one gives you 5% attack speed per 5 rage, which on a whirling slash, if you're wondering why I'm so goddamn fast, even in the hideout, this is the reason why. It's completely ridiculous. And yeah, there it goes. Lose maximum life per 5 rage does not affect us, once again, because our life is 1. So we get more attack damage, attack speed, and then we also get increased attack damage. The way we get that is through Mystical Rage up here, which I have on my weapon swap 2, because it only needs to be up whenever I need to deal damage with my quarterstaff, and it gives us 2% increased spell damage per rage, but it actually gives us 3% because it does scale with Berserk, so we're getting like 300% increased damage or so, but it's spell damage, which is why you want to use Crown of Ice, which transforms spell damage to attack damage. This also means that you can use Hybrid Spell Maximum Energy Shield on your jewel crafts, as you can see up here. Both attack damage and spell damage do the same thing, which makes it a little easier to craft. And at the end, we're also getting Stun Threshold, which doesn't sound like much, but it's actually a pretty big deal. So every rage also grants 2% Stun Threshold, which scales to 3 with Berserk. And so we're getting like 300% stun threshold. Couple that with abasement right here, which gives us 30 plus, so 50% of our energy shield as stun threshold. We're never getting stunned. It is literally impossible. Now, my gems are pretty straightforward. Falling Thunder, Perpetual Charge, Rakyatas, Garokans, Nova Projectiles, and Ricochet. Really important with Falling Thunder is that you have Wall Chain. We get 50% here and then 10% from Ricochet for a total of 60%. Otherwise, Falling Thunder might be annoying in some map layouts, so definitely do that. Then we have Rigwald's Ferocity here, Diala's, Medved's, Efficiency 2, and Rapid Attacks 3, because it doesn't matter how much damage you deal. Repulsion, Living Lightning, Culmination 2, Aleph Chimes, Charge Profusion 2. The Herald of Thunder will be there for a little bit of help on clear. Elemental Focus, Long Shot, LE Armaments, Lightning Mastery, and Magnified Area. The Berserk, all I have on here is Armor Demolisher 1, which has a purpose. I'll show you in a second. Uhtred's Omen, and then I have Convalescence with CDR, Prolonged Duration, Demolisher 2 once again, Mysticism, and then Herald of Ice is there to grant us endurance charges and give us a little bit of extra explosions. Now, you might be wondering, what the hell is this Eye of Winter doing here, and why is there random armor demolishers everywhere? Well, that has a reason. So if you look up top, support gem capacity, there's Strength 12, Int 12. You want this number to align for gem studded. While you have a highest amount of a certain color, you get certain effects. And red gives you crit immunity, while blue gives you 30% less cost. Those are both very valuable. The bottom one doesn't do anything for us, but the top two are really important. So you want your strength support gems and your int support gems to line up. Now, as of my testing, auto attack does not work. So do that as you may, but even through weapon swaps or whatever, it doesn't matter. You just have to have this number and this number be equal without putting anything in your auto attacks. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I've tested it multiple times. I cannot figure out how else. So I have Armor Demolisher wherever I can. This gem, for some reason, you can support on every single aura, so I'll take it. I have a red one here, red one here, red one here. Uhtred's Omen is also a red one, so that helps. But you could also just put a red one in here. And then, yeah, just blues to round it out on an Eye of Winter. The reason I take Eye of Winter is if we think back to Thaumaturgic Generator, this skews it a little bit more towards power charges, so it's easier for power charges to sustain. Now, in terms of defense, we have a ton of ES, 12 to 15,000, depending on if you have an endurance charge up or not, and obviously also depending on your gear, but you're probably not going to get one shot. The problem really is recovery, and I've tried quite a few things, but they have destroyed Leech, so converting Leech with the gloves, which I tried at first, is completely worthless. Don't even, I mean, it's just bad. They completely destroyed Leech. So what I do is I get 2 to 3 of the jewels with faster start of energy shield recharge, kind of like this one right here. You can see the mod. It also scales with the quality, so it's really damn nice, and it is a prefix, so that makes it a little bit better. On top of that, I'm using Convalescence, which forces you to restart your energy shield, and it does not stop even if you get hit by enemies. It's a really nice button that you can press every 16 seconds or so. And then for the energy shield charge recovery rate, I have a singular rune of recovery here on the body armor. I'll show you a quickie map here at the end, but basically your eternal rage will be scaling up. So at the start, you're a little bit slower, right? And then as the rage ramps up, it goes better. On the first pack, you want to make sure that you whirl into it. I could already be attacking, but just so you know, because if you just go in and immediately do Falling Thunder, it will actually weapon swap you out of the Blasphemy and you won't get any charges. You only have to do this at the start. Those are the most awkward first 5 seconds of a map or whatever, but after that, it is just, yeah, as you can see, if you look at the charges, it's completely easy. So yeah, you're going to breeze. This should be 200% Delhi from what I remember. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. From what I remember. So this is the clear, right? You just zap around and you do Falling Thunder. Now, Falling Thunder is really impressive, but it's not perfect. There are going to be layouts where you're gonna kind of dislike it, especially indoor areas that can kind of fuck you up, but those are pretty far in between. Now, if you think you're clever by cutting the wall chain support, do not. You're going to absolutely hate your life. This skill without wall charge is not fun whatsoever. But yeah, this is kind of like how it looks. You can see all these spikes going out. All these fissures can connect with enemies. And yeah, it is very much a sight to behold. Build is very, very fun. Let's see the boss. Should be a one-shot. We'll see. Not exactly. Oh, game crashed. Perfect showcase for this patch. Yeah, that's about all I got. Hope you learned a thing or two. I was really happy with this build, so I wanted to put it out. Obviously, I won't have a max roll guide or anything for this because it's way too expensive for the normal person. But maybe I could inspire you. Maybe you can make your own version. The whole charge stuff is actually very, very cheap, as I outlined at the start of the video. And you can do it on several other skills as well. You can look it up on PoE2DB. Do note that Flicker Strike is capped at 90% because they hate fun. It was a little bit ridiculous, to be fair, but there's some other skills that you can do this as well. For example, with something like Glacial Lance, I think was it, or Oil Barrage and whatnot. So yeah, really enjoying Gemling Legionnaire this patch, and I'm pretty sure it will be adjusted for next patch, but we'll see. Either way though, hope you guys enjoyed, and since I still don't have a slogan, see you next time.